She previously scaled Scandit, famous unicorn from Switzerland, from 70 to 600 employees, achieving 10x ARR growth. And she calls herself a professional foreigner who consistently chooses challenge over compensation.
It's not just an administrative list of things that need to get done, but it's
Mm.
it's a rock that we're moving forward. So we
Mm.
on in our monthly town halls and ask them to tell us the story. So, the midnight rush to bring bank in Vietnam across the line and solve a business problem. It's us all together working on shifting that rock a little further.
It's really about authenticity and just telling exactly what happened in your own words. Their perspective may not be somebody else's perspective. Their reality may be different from somebody else's reality, which I find is so often the key to understanding how to compromise, how to align people, understanding that you're not necessarily coming to the point from the same angle.
Mhm.
Hey, for every language you speak, for every country you live in, you become a different person, right?
My dad had previously lived in Africa, and Nigeria, and Kenya, various different places. He picked us a beautiful house in a 100% black neighborhood. It didn't even occur to him.
Wow.
For my school friends, that was a big issue. It's not an administrative job, although you have to do some administration, but it's mostly finding out what works for this company to create a high performance environment. Everything you do has to make a difference. I used to work for big American companies, American Express, 100,000 employees. There's a process, you follow the process. So your individual contribution doesn't make such a big difference. Whereas in a tech company, especially in a small startup or scale up environment, having the right people at the right place with the right engagement, knowing what they're doing, being enabled, being engaged, that makes a real difference, and it makes a measurable difference on the bottom line. So, especially in an HR role in tech, you are a business leader, and
Mhm.
you have to have that commercial mindset to connect how the work you're doing in HR impacts the bottom line. My approach is always do what you can to make sure that the person feels like a full human being, like a respected person.
Right.
If you treat people as human beings, 99.9% of the time, people will not turn against the company because
Mhm.
they're still connected. They still have friends there. They still have an interest in making that company they used to work for look good. It's painful, but it doesn't break everyone. Yeah. I think the purely legal driven, so if there isn't that healthy balance between human and legal, that usually ends up bad. It feels like a slap in the face. Your email access is terminated. Nobody
Mhm.
knows where to find you anymore, and you're gone, right? You're part of building something different. You're part of changing the world in a small way. And that is something that you couldn't pay me enough to go away from this environment.
The engineers in the company chose kindness as the first value. That's maybe a little bit unexpected against prejudice.
Letting each other know where I am and what I can do and what I can contribute and how to
Hmm.
help you, but also where my helping stops. We don't take what AI says at face value. So we would treat AI like a junior team member and say, that's a great first draft. Let me read that.
And I've never had such bitchy answers as since I put that in the system prompt. So now I think I have to tone it down again because it's starting to make me feel bad.
Oh,
So it's really forcing the decision almost.
exactly. And so it comes up with really good quality job descriptions that way. Radical Recruit is a headhunter agency, you might say, that is specialized in finding jobs for unhoused people, the UK particularly. I never spent more than 3 years in the same place. I remember my grandmother, who was a big role model for me. In her late 80s, she lived up on the hillside and she would cycle down the hill into the town to help the old folks. I had no idea. I didn't even want to be in HR. I had no idea what HR even was. He was like, you're coming to work for me. I was like, okay. I think he really saw something in me that I had no idea was there.